Hello! Some of you wanted me to make a breakdown for that Billie Eilish lyric video, and hopefully with it you will pretty much know how I created it and you will be able to create it on your own, I guess. Let me start with showing you the process of starting this video. Anyways, I'm working in toonboom Harmony Premium. It's pretty expensive software and most of the cartoon shows are done in this software, that's why I'm using it. And also I'm working on Wacom Cintiq 13 HD. Okay, let's move forward. Before I even started making this lyric video, because it's clearly 212 seconds long, so it's like 3.5 minutes long, 3:30 minutes. I needed to find a ways to save time, and it's easy when you break apart the song and you find elements that you can reuse for the song. Let me explain. For this song, there was an intro for 30 seconds, then it was a chorus 15 seconds, first verse 15 seconds, refrain and pre-chorus 35, again chorus, so there's a reuse, second verse 32 seconds, bridge 10 seconds, another reuse, and another reuse, and outro, which was the reuse for the intro. Then I just simply draw everything, I counted all the time, and what I have? 107 seconds is almost half of what I had to do at the very beginning. So now, with that, I said to myself it's pretty possible to do it. So what I did, I just simply cut the parts from the song, which contains the intro, the verse, and so on, and I created a toonboom files for the entire video, which contains also the parts of it. You can notice the folder extra, which was created because there was some extra parts in the refrain here that gives a little more impact, such as this Billie that was just over the ground levitating, that sick shot. I love it. And it was inside this extra folder, which I will show you as well. Okay, the most of this video was done in a very easy way. Let me show you this really quick. I used a font called, it's a free font from Google, like Montserrat Extra Bold, I guess. And to show you the example of how I animated the lyrics, I have a voiceover of me saying like, comment and subscribe. Like, comment and subscribe. Let me draw it on this layer. Like, comment and subscribe. As you can see from this point, I did everything hand-drawn, frame by frame. And I did that because for me it's just simpler, it's just easier, and I see no point of doing it different way. Just for this example, I will do just a random thing how it could possibly happen to make this kind of lyrics inside of what I need. So I'm doing this like, this comment maybe here, and could be in the very center, and then I might have this subscribe somewhere over there. Then I can even push it a little more with the perspective tool, and I don't know, maybe do something like this. Why not? Maybe I can grab this like and just stretch it somehow just a little. Maybe I can do the same with the comment. Maybe I will even use the envelope tool. Why not? To do something like this. Maybe I will just push a little more this like. But it really doesn't matter. What matters is how I actually did this animation of the lyrics, more or less. So once I have this, what I had to do actually is I had to redraw everything, and I used one pencil size with minimum size of 100, and I just simply trace every single letter. Let me make just a smaller, every single letter in here, and that costs me a little time, but I wanted to stay consistent with the style, and I wanted to make everything look the same throughout the entire video, and that was the one and only way to do it. So I could use a font, but it might lose some of that feeling of making it hand-drawn, and I really didn't wanted it to happen. I really wanted to have that spirit of frame-by-frame animation, because I love frame-by-frame animation. So what I'm doing here, I'm finishing this subscribe. If you haven't already, please subscribe. I'm gonna make more that type of things, more lyrics video in the future, but right now I have a other project to finish. It's pretty similar animation, and I believe it will be pretty cool. Okay, so once I have it, I can erase the letters behind, because I don't need them. Maybe I might color everything just a little. Maybe the end part should be red, or maybe subscribe should be red, and this part should be in this color. Why not? And what I will do is I will extend my exposure, and I will see where the words are starting. Subscribe. I'm gonna split subscribe into 2 layers, and what I'm gonna do, there shouldn't be anything, okay? There should be only like, there should be only comment, there should be this and, subscribe. And now if you will play it,
like, comment, and subscribe.
Okay, and how I did this, you can clearly say the wave, there is the waveform, and I animated it in very simple way. I just rotated the screen towards this lyrics, and I pushed this lyrics 2 frames before it, and I added like 5-6 more exposures. And what I did at this point, I selected everything, and I just simply squash it to the very beginning, and the second in between was in the very middle, the third one was pretty close to the end, and then it's a little slowed down. And I repeated this motion over and over throughout the entire animation until I was able to just finish it. So let me just quickly finish this. Let me find the right angle to squash it, pivot point somewhere there. Now I like it. It's squashed, then it's somewhere in the middle, then it's somewhere close to the end, even closer, and that's it. Then we have that end part, and you can clearly see how fast I did it. So the first part was just to find every single idea in the lyrics and just simply align the text and animate it in this way. The same here, maybe I will just translate it a little more, why not? Instead of just squashing and stretching, just a little here. And then is this scribe part, somewhere in the middle, even more. If I would do it for a song right now, I would do it a little more precise, and I didn't wanted this to happen, so I might squeeze it a little more, maybe just to avoid this situation of overlapping two letters one on top of another. So this situation will not happen right now. And this is how it looks right now. I might actually use it on my videos.
Subscribe. Like, comment, and subscribe. Yeah, like, comment.
So I did something wrong here, but I can quickly fix it. I missed something for some reason. I didn't want to do it, so here it is.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
Okay, so that's pretty much how it looks for the entire video. And now it was just the idea of how I managed all of the screens to work for me in this way. The first part, the intro for the song, as you can see, I have all the lyrics here written, so I was ready to play around with them and just match them on the screen to redraw everything. And I also redraw most of the parts of the song for the same reason as I said before, just to save time. I didn't want it to come up entirely with the new video. I wanted to save time because no one paid me to do it, obviously. So I wanted to find a balance between time and quality, and using the video as a reference was a very good idea. So it's just 3 frames of Magging Panic, and then for a very long time, then it's just disappearing. Everything is done frame by frame, appearing Bury a Friend, and then it's Billie Eilish. Then it's a little close-up doing the translation, and it's not done frame by frame, but everything but this transition is frame by frame. And that's pretty much it for the intro of this song. Let me open the first refrain part, which I did as a teaser for this video. I believe it wasn't anything super interesting technically, but just the one after another switching lyrics. What's cool detail, I love this, I love those little air rings that are actually animating here, using the gravity every time it's moving. That was a nice detail, but I love it so much. And I was playing around with the lyrics again and again. Everything, as you can see, is hand-drawn, frame by frame. Every single frame is hand-drawn. Okay, so now we are here. There is this switch, and I wanted to have these arms. This effect of switching between standing normal and upside down was from the video of the band Polyphia and the video called Goat. Let me show you just a little part of it without actual music. This one. You can feel this transition? I love it so much. So because of this video, because I love this band, I wanted to incorporate this because the vibe was pretty much similar. And everything here works exactly the same. I love this transition. So that was I was inspired by a couple things to create it for sure, and I just wanted to challenge myself. So from this point, this character here, Billie, actually gives a little more dark into this refrain part. Okay, let's move to the first verse, which was the most ambitious part, I guess, in terms of drawings, and this part contains a lot of special effects. So this one was pretty massive. I didn't expect this video to took me like 40-50 hours and hand draw it frame by frame. Let me find this later. As you can see, it's hand drawn. Here there's a little build, so I have the arm here, which is swinging, and I have the body here, which have a pivot here. So this is build, but everything from this frame is actually hand-drawn frame by frame. So it's just a mix, smart mix between frame by frame and a little builds over and over to pretty much save time. And as you can see, I did exactly the same over and over, so I put the letters, I redraw it, and I animated over it. And there is a transition, a little more transition. That was a cool thing to add here. This rotational transition here came up from the pivot, the peg transformation, as you can see. And again, I wanted to have this upside down over and over because it's added so much depth to this video, so much more dark the video is in this way. And at this point I was just playing around with the hair mostly because I wanted to add it, and it's so cool. And then is the super ambitious part about those eyes, and I made the video vertically, so I had to draw a lot of that. Let me focus on this. It don't have so many frames here, but it looks pretty stunning if I will just scribble between those frames. Everything is super fluid in this video, and I wanted to keep that. I wanted to keep this video ambitious while I was saving time in the other parts of the videos. Here was another ambitious shot when the lyrics was liquefying into the another liquefying thing, and I came up into this idea because it's like I'm drinking you down, and it seems reasonable to do it this way, and I'm happy with the result. Here is the pretty fun part. Because everything here is actually built, it's not frame by frame at this point. So for this I use 2 points constraint, and in order to do it you have to have something like this character as it is right now here, and this character is actually connected to this peg, and this peg, because every single arm I can move the arm, okay, and do everything, and 2 point constraint defines 2 point, the first one and the second one, which will be hold to this point. And entire animation here is based on this tiny little idea. And now I can grab obviously all of those pegs and play around with them together. So if I will grab my character and I will rotate it, it will just behave like the hands are holding this character. I came up with this idea really quick. I didn't want it initially to do it this way. I didn't know what I'm gonna do. Entire video was super spontaneous, but it always came like miraculously somehow, the idea of doing it in such a way to make it easier to animate. I believe it came up from the experience as well. If you are doing something very long, you can do things easier. You can come up with the ideas of making things easier. So now we are at the point where I'm animating it frame by frame again, a little body movement, and this part here, which is ripping out this t-shirt from the character, which, as you can see, had so many frames hand drawn one by one here, one by one hand drawn to create this effect here. Hands are obviously in the same situation as it was, so it's just one animation, simple path, and arms are following those paths obviously. So that was the easy part. The hard part was that t-shirt ripping off. Okay, now I animated a little lip sync, closed eyes again, switch transition to the upside down, and this part here, which was pretty similar again, but without the entire build. Every arm was separate, and every arm had a little tiny animation at the very end to actually put the syringes, the liquid inside of syringes, into the body of the character, kind of, and that's how it looks. It's a switch, and what happens on the switch, when you will close up on the drawings, I just switch colors, okay? and with the pegs I just change the position of every arm. So it's the same arms here as here, but in different positions. So it's smart reuse one more time to create this effect. This was pretty dope. I like this scene so much. It's disturbing, but I like it. What is happening here is a kind of vertigo effect, where, as you can see, syringes are just a simple movement and vertigo behave like this. So the character is slowly sizing up, and those syringes have different motion. So this one is kind of just growing, while this one is rotating a little. So all of that patiently added rotation and scale give this scene this vertigo kind of effect, more like a 3D. I like it so much. Means again, rotation, frame by frame, hand-drawn hair to give a little more life into this scene, and the same build for the arms that are holding the character, and that's pretty much it. Okay, so let's move to the next scene, which will be the second verse. And the second verse was pretty similar at the very beginning, because there is a character singing and there are the legs. I could animate the legs using like pegs, but I don't know. I drew everything frame by frame, as you can see, because I like to do it in a hard way. So the legs here are actually hand drawn frame by frame. If you will check it here, you will notice it's actually frame by frame. So I animated them frame by frame. I added the lyrics over and over, and because there was a rotation on them and then like a movement, I keep that frame by frame thing over and over. Then it's like transition into the character, and at this point I know I overkilled myself with time, and I needed to create more parts with just lyrics, because the second verse is a way longer than the first verse, like twice longer, and it have a way more lyrics. So I kind of have to do it this way. Everything here, which you can see, this motion is done frame by frame by just making animation of the character. Oh, and this character have just a tiny little build, which have the body and the head and the arm connected to the head. So I could do a little more with it, as you can see here. That was smart build, again, to not hand-drawn everything frame by frame. As I showed you at the very beginning, I manipulated it mostly using this envelope and perspective tool. So with those two, I was just frame by frame patiently adjusting everything to give this tiny little effect. Because the letters, again, are working in the very same way as I showed you at the very beginning. This is pretty interesting. I should create a video about how to animate frame by frame rotation like a coin on this example, because it's super easy and super fun, and the result of this animation is pretty cool. I will make a video tutorial about it for sure. So again, it's one more frame with just text, and this is the part where I have a lot of text. I incorporated this motion with the music, so it have a little additional bounce. Then I started adding more elements like that with the skeleton and this one. Barely noticeable, but I wanted to add this element, calling security, and again switching colors while the beats on the music are happening, and this is it. Not very ambitious part, but it was needed in order to create everything in a reasonable time. Then we have this last part, which I pretty knew what I wanted to do, but it was pretty crazy because the scene lasts for about like, I don't know, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, I don't know. And my initial idea was to create it frame by frame, the hair, but it would be overkill. So I created a little deformers on them. Let me open it. A little curve deformer on every part of the hair, and I animated them doing this effect, as you can see. And for the lyrics, I kind of created just this rotational thing, and I appeared those letters and everything was just rotating. One more smart thing to save time, which turned out pretty good. I'm not super happy about the result for the animation of the hair, but for the sake of time, for this animation, for not getting paid for it, it's reasonable balance between the quality and how the animation looks like. Overall, I'm happy with it. The last part of the video was just those additional parts in this extra file, and this extra file contains this character appearing, getting bigger, and this cool build here, which looks like 3D, but it's nothing else than just 4 layers simply moved and like squashed and stretched throughout the video. So as you can see, there's a leg that's not rotating at all, but just scaling, and then is the front arm and the entire body here again. I added it into like miniature, but I didn't add it here. There was a syringes also, and these also have this animation which kind of works as a like more 3D, and again it's done exactly in the same way by just picking up every single frame and putting them, every single layer, giving them a little rotation and scale to each one separately to have this result. Once I finished all of those parts that I just showed you, I was able to back to the Premiere Pro, where I started to cut the video, and I was able to put the song entirely again. So I had the intro that I draw really quick. I reused the first part with Magin Panic for the outro. I had the chorus, which I reused 3 times, first verse, refrain and pre-chorus that I reused and added those extra things here, and I had the second verse and bridge. And that was pretty much everything that I had to do. And again, that 3.5 minutes can be overwhelming. But when I have like 1 minute and 40 seconds, it sounds a little more manageable and a little more easier to do, as well as splitting it into parts for each part of the song makes this video manageable. Still, it's 40-50 hours of work, and I worked pretty hard over the entire week to put this video together. I hope you like this video, and I hope you can do it by yourself right now. Or if you asked yourself how to do it, right now you can. And, well, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Cheers!